We are the Catalan Independentist Resistance, and you are listening to a new update from Radio Hadrian in Free Catalonia.
The great masses will fall easier for a big lie than for a small one. Adolf Hitler. Good afternoon, good evening. This is David Raventós, and this is chapter 51 in Radio Hadrian. This program made possible thanks to KA Radio, the voice of new music. We're trying to encourage Catalans to listen to the great music and the great shows here in KA Radio. This program and this station are being very important to break censorship in Catalonia, and we are being the only program that can tell Catalans the truth about what goes on here. This program is dedicated to the first people alert or first people watch card members of Directe 68, Directe 68, the party that will bring independence. It's hard to fight. Most people who want India, they don't want to accept that they've been betrayed. You know, that it's more difficult to tell people. It's easier to deceive people than to convince them they've been deceived. So for these first heroes, male and female, in a few months, everybody will belong to Directe 68 and everybody will say that they were there from the beginning. But we who were there from the very beginning will be able to tell the difference. But anyways, everybody is welcome. In this program, well, first mention that we're very happy with our website, a website which the opening page is in 15 languages already, most European or lots of European languages, and already Nahuatl, the old Aztec language. And we encourage everybody in the world who's a native speaker of any language to help us translate our motivations in every language in the world, because we care. We do this for the Catalans, but we do this for a better world. So there it is. We have a great new logo done by Luis Montornès. I think I called him Albert in previous program. And we're also preparing a new edited version of the conference we did 2 weeks ago, and that has already been seen by 14,000 people in 2 weeks in Facebook. So things are looking up, and it's inevitable that Directe 68 will bring about independence in Catalonia. Today, I want to comment a bit on this talk about second independence referendum in Scotland, and this thing about the Brexit and this tension between Scotland and London, a typical thing. And then we'll talk about the new Catalan president a bit more, and the Occupy Spain, how it was the Indignados, or it was the 15M movement, which was a lie organized by Soros. And also the second anniversary that I was put in a mental ward. We start. Well, this week there's been tension between London and Holyrood about Brexit, and I won't go into the details of it, because lots of times, both in Scotland and in Catalonia, we get lost in details, and this side said this and that side said that, and we will put ourselves behind our so-called leaders and we lose perspective. Scotland still part of the UK because there was a referendum in 2014, a referendum in which Alex Salmond, Nicola Sturgeon and the high ranks of the SNP were part of. And that's the only reason. That reason, and because the SNP is not doing UDI, that's the only reason why you are still part of the UK. So all this tension is really fake tension, because you know that London could wipe off Holyrood if they wish to do so. So all this is just a smokescreen to keep people rallying behind Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP. And Brexit, everything around Brexit and as everything related to a referendum. You did a referendum in Scotland, it was rigged. There's been a referendum about Brexit, but possibly they're going to do a second one, and it's going to be revoked. We did several referendums in Catalonia, didn't matter. In Greece, they did a referendum, it didn't matter. In Puerto Rico, I've done 5 referendums for independence or something, and it doesn't matter. So these shenanigans between Scotland and London are just make-believe. It's all a soap. It's a soap opera to keep you focused in the things that don't matter. And then also there's growing noises about a second referendum. Referendums don't bring independence. We've said it a lot of times. We'll say it again. Only UDI can set you free. But you won't be able to be free unless you unveil the gigantic deception that the SNP means. We found out we have connections in Scotland, we have connections in Basque Country, and through connections in Basque Country, we know about Ireland. All those processes, all those independence movements are run by our enemies in London, Washington, and Madrid. So without escaping that rigged system, there's no way we can get independence. And so I know it's very easy, and the whole system works in this. We have to be men against women, left, right, Muslims and Christians, and then pro-Indi and pro-Union. But all those sides are run by the same side. To get independence, we need to do UDI, and we need to do that through new parties. In Catalonia, we've set up Directe 68, and I hope there's a serious option in Scotland that is not the SNP, because the SNP is part of the system. It is naive to hope that something so entrenched, something so central to the system as the SNP is going to break the system. That's something they put in our minds, but it beggars belief. It's totally unreal that people hope that the SNP is going to deliver independence. And so that will be it for the Scottish approach. Scotland hasn't been so prominent here this week as it was last week with Ahmed Anwar fake interview in Catalan public television. The main thing here still is, that's why we did a special program on Tuesday. This new president, Quim Torra. This Quim Torra made some articles and some tweets that can be deemed xenophobic. We're not entering that field for a number of reasons. First, we don't do Spanish Civil War here. We, Directe 68, are the only project that's going to unite 7.5 million Catalans, those that are already pro-independence and those that are still not pro-independence. And if we've been lied about what we see every day, how can we have strong opinions in history where we were not born? But secondly, the big issue here, as we mentioned in one of the first programs, and as always, we want to emphasize the importance of listening to all the programs. And also, this is a call to every journalist, student, anywhere in the world. We need help to unveil the deception in Scotland, in Ireland, in Euskal Herria, and in Catalonia, and in lots of other places, I guess. But we need your help for that. But as we explained in one of the first chapters, Leo Strauss told us how 99% of population needs to be lied to by the powers that be. And the way to do that is you can only lie to everybody with several different lies, because with only one lie, not everybody would fall for it. So you need complementary lies to lie to everybody. So the same way in Madrid, they lied in the attack in Madrid, 11th of March 2004. Some side lied saying it was ETA. The other side lied saying it was Al-Qaeda or jihadist. Actually, it was NATO. Well, the same thing goes on now about Torra. This Torra guy was infiltrated around 2008. He has no past. comes from Switzerland. After living 2 years in Switzerland, he is infiltrated. Some years after that, when Spain already told him to do so, he does some xenophobic tweets and articles. And now the unionist side is having a field day calling him, and by extension the pro-Indi side, xenophobic. And that's why it's so important, Directe 68, because we're a project that is universal in the meaning of that we want everybody, no matter what the origin is, to rally next to us so we can declare independence in the next few months. And our process is, and our project is against no one. It's in favor of 7.5 million Catalans. So we are not going to fall for this. One side lies to us saying that he is a politician, he is pro-Indi, and he is xenophobic. And the other side lies to us saying that he is a politician, pro-Indi, but not xenophobic. The problem is that we are believing, most people are believing in the two main lies. He is not a politician, he is a plant, he's an actor, he's a stooge, he's a puppet. And second, he is not pro-independence, he's working for the Spanish Secret Services. So those two main lies make the frame of this controversy, which is no controversy at all. If you accept the first two lies, if you accept that he is a politician, which he is not, and that he is pro-Indi, which he is not, then the conflict is about two different lies. There is no way to know if he is xenophobic or not, because he is an actor. He is playing in a soap opera called The Process. So there's no real way for us to know what he really thinks. How can you tell what an actor thinks because of what he does on stage? It's as ridiculous. We have people fighting about an actor on a play. And that's so sad. You see, lots of people, of course, a lot of our government chills, but lots of people are people in good faith, defending this guy, attacking this guy. He is a stooge. He's been planted there to break independence from the inside. And then again, it cannot be that Carles Puigdemont, he is not the brightest guy on earth, but he's not the worst idiot in the universal history either. It's impossible that after 6 months that have cost us 10,000 million euros gone to Spain for nothing, he picks up number 11 in his list. It's not like it's number 2 and we were not too choosy. He picks up number 11 after 6 months, and it happens to be a guy that has been lambasted left, right, and center. Puigdemont is not such an idiot. He's not that bright, but not the worst idiot ever. And then number 2 idiot would be this Quim Torra, which has these tweets, and he's been in parliament for 6 months, and he only takes away these tweets 2 hours before being elected. I mean, come on, some of us are already awake. And we're helping other people to get out of Plato's cave or the Truman Show, so it doesn't work with us anymore. The advantage we have is that the script is so bad because they were not ready for nobody to challenge them. Spain has control over every pro-Indi party, every pro-Indi media, every pro-Indi grassroots organization, every pro-Indi social media. Only thing they didn't expect is the Catalan independence resistance, Directe 68, and Radio Hadrian to come into being, because everything else is run by Spain. That's the problem we have. The independence will take 1 minute. What will take longer is to reformat millions of Catalan brains that have to accept that everything they love has been run by Spain for decades or centuries. And that's the hard part, and that's a hard fight. So this Quim Torra will refer from now on as the Spanish mole put in place to murder independence. And we consider that proven through these chapters 49, 50, and 51. Another thing, and it's an example that can be universal. Social media have been doing the rounds about a photograph where the 3 pre-union parties and the members of Godó is an important radio, television, and newspaper group. They've been having lunch together in the tennis tournament in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. And this had been distributed by a so-called pro-Indi guy who was invented a couple of years ago, and a so-called pro-Indian newspaper, which is run actually by a unionist. But they told us that he converted 2 years ago. It's all these lies, all these games they play, all this psyop. And the question is, people share these things without thinking. We have to activate our brain. We have to switch off television. We have to switch on our brains. This picture would never exist. People are not such idiots. They would never be caught in a picture like this if it was not done on purpose. Nowadays, everybody has a camera with them. Everybody. They wouldn't provide this photo opportunity that is very bad, especially for the Socialist Party and so on, if it was not done on purpose. We should activate our brains. It's done on purpose. Why? To protect all the traitors that don't appear in the photograph. Puigdemont, Esquerra Republicana, CUP, Catalan television, Catalan newspapers. This photograph is to focus our wrath in the usual suspects, while the ones stabbing independents are the Catalan so-called pro-Indi parties. The same thing happened with a guy called Jordi Graupera. He's very obviously pulled away by the Spanish police the 1st of October, and now accidentally he presents himself out of nowhere to run for mayor in Barcelona. Come on. It's not that he accidentally appears in a very heroic photograph and then, oh, at the last minute he decides to run for mayor in Barcelona. Oh, come on. Somebody in Spain decides to put him as a stooge running for mayor in Barcelona. So some months before, they make a photo call of him very nicely and very blatantly dragged in his very nice suit. He is laying on the ground because that was his promotion campaign, a free to make promotion campaign. We should start realizing that every photograph that appears in every mainstream media is a photo call. It's there to lie to us. And opposite to that, the images we should be seeing are kidnapped, are made disappear so we don't see them. Evidence disappears, evidence is planted. We don't see images of what happened in the Pentagon in 9/11 because no plane hit the Pentagon, so they had to make cameras disappear. Same thing in the false flag in Madrid 2004 where 200 people died in trains. Photographs show that the official version is a lie and bombs were put under the train. It was NATO. So they made those pictures disappear. And in Barcelona, I walked personally the attacks in Barcelona 17th of August, which we commented on in chapters 9 to 13 in here, Radio Hadrian. 18 cameras at least. I counted 18 cameras in the path they told us the van to have done. None of those cameras have been shown. So every picture we see is planted. Every image we should see is made disappear. We should start believing nothing we see in mainstream media is true. Maybe the weather forecast when they get it right, but not much more. And we should start acting as conscious humans instead of farm animals. This week has marked the 7th anniversary of a movement called the Indignados or the 15M. This is one of the big lies here in Catalonia and Spanish state. From that came Podemos. Podemos is a project run by the CIA. Podemos was instrumental in the false flag attacks in 2014 to cover for it and to make the government fall. Podemos is central in making impossible Catalonia to be independent because they are dragging some people to the likes of Ada Colau, which we debunked in week 6. And all this is a fraud. All this was run by George Soros and his open society things, and the Ford Foundation and the CIA through IIZ. And they organized it and they prepared it, and out of it came Podemos, and in Catalonia a reinforced coup. And this is the system protecting itself to make us believe that we're fighting the system. But fighting the system is not as cool as a cucumber, as you go sitting in a square and start chanting, and you go there and you spend some time having some fags and some joints. It's a tad more complicated than that. It's going against everything, and it's suffering threats, slander, state terror, as those of us who are facing the system know. So this week, as we said, marks the 7th anniversary of one of the big false flag or PSI operations in Spain with this whole 15M thing. This week has also been marked by the knowledge that Pablo Iglesias, this anti-system guy, nobody knew 4 years ago, and that he has been artificially pumped up in television, and his partner bought a house for 600,000 euros, and he's supposed to be anti-system and trying to be very lefty, and now this. So it's all such a big farce. Another thing relevant, or 2nd anniversary this week of me being kidnapped by Spain. You know, I had started a hunger strike 14 days before that for the unilateral declaration of independence in Scotland and Catalonia, but I did that with the knowledge that the running SNP and the running political parties in Catalonia all work against us. So I had started a hunger strike to let people know these things. And in the 14th day, I went to the hospital to check my health, and then I was kidnapped there. They took away my phone, which evidenced that there was an operation against me. I was kept there. Then the judge came, and he illegally kept me there, lying all through about what I said. They force-fed me. They force-medicated me, which amounts to chemical torture, through the Depakine and Risperidone. And for 62 days, the torture went on. My life was threatened or put under threat twice by weird people under withdrawal symptoms, that one of them out of prison, and threatening to murder us all, which is something I wouldn't have had to go through at home. And they tried to destroy my personality. They still have me labeled as psychotic and bipolar, with none of which I am. And I'm under permanent danger, because if tomorrow I appeared suicided, it will be coherent with what they say I have, but I don't. But the good news is, thanks to good friends, and thanks to Delia, and thanks to my family, I managed to survive that and to get stronger and stronger. And now I have a big support group that has become Directe 68, Directe 68. We're growing stronger. As I said, more than 14,000 people have seen our conference of 2 weeks ago. More people are getting awake from the big lie that the process is. And we are winning this. We're going to win this. And this is going to be one of the most incredible things to have happened in the history of Europe. Because we're going to turn this, which was impossible, has already become inevitable. Too many people know that the process is a lie. Too many people know that everybody we see on television are actually New World Order moles. So it's just a matter of time that we're going to crack this system. And we're going to be able to be an example for other nations that are searching for freedom. And then we can build a world centered on people and not in power. We are winning this. We are going to win. Saur Aluba Gubrath. Visca Catalunya Lliure.
This has been another update from the Catalan Independentist Resistance from Radio Hadrian. Remember that you can follow us on social media, either on Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter account, Instagram, Google, Telegram, and also on iVoox.